Namah Shivaya, Namaste. It is time for Yin Yoga. And so today I encourage you to have a roller. And if you don't have a roller, a bolster can work. And what I invite you to do is get up on your roller, sit at the very front of your canoe so that as your head lays back, you have total support by the roller for your head. And if you don't have a roller, you can do this on a bolster. I would just encourage you to sit a little bit forward of the bolster. You don't want to be right up on it because it will perhaps jam you up in the low back a little bit. So keep some space and come, about a hand or so distance from the bolster as you sit down. And just stay as you are. I'm simply going to sit down in front of it, lay back, and reach wide rim to rim, and begin to come into cactus arms. And as you come into cactus arms, I will encourage you to begin by reaching wide rim to rim. Just extend out through the arms, reach out through your fingertips, and go ahead low and get as long as you can, wide to wide, rim to rim. And then as you get wide rim to rim, imagine that I'm coming along and just tucking your superhero cape up underneath you, sliding your shoulder blades towards your back pockets, sliding your trapezius muscle down, and then relax the elbows. Soften the hands and really begin to let go. And feel the weight of your shoulder heads dropping down towards the floor, the weight of your forearms. So, cactus arms, if they don't work for you, if you can't lay the back of your arm down on the floor, then you come into something more in this direction and just allow that pectoral window to open up. Just make sure that you stay nice and soft in your hands. Yeah, and so if you find when you go into a little bit deeper of the stretch, you lose the ability to relax, then it's no longer an ideal place to be. So you want to make sure that you find a way of meeting the earth with your arms that sends a signal to your nervous system that it's okay to let go. All right, gravity is going to give you the effort. You don't have to do it. Just find a shape, drape the shape. All right. And then once you feel that you've got your arms in a good place, you feel that your head is in line with the rest of your spine. And then if you have it available to you, you can have an ottoman. You can do this up near a couch and let your calves rest in the couch. And you will get your calves up onto that support. But before you do, I would encourage you to get a strap if you have one, and use it to bring your legs together. So as we bring our legs together in the front, it opens up the sacrum in the back, creates a little bit of space. So, and perhaps mid-thigh or just above the knee towards mid-thigh. And then you press your calves into your point of contact if you have one beneath them, and spill your pelvic bowl backwards. And just move towards imprinting your low back. And then if you don't have anything underneath your calves, you just press through your feet into the floor and feel your low back imprinting. And so we find a resting place for the legs with as much attention as we did for the arms. And then we feel the alignment of the spine. So there's still a samastiti, a tadasana here, of feeling the ears in line with the shoulders and the hips. And you feel that the forehead and the chin are on the same plane. So the cervical spine is in neutral. And then relax the face. Relax the space between your eyes. Relax the brow. And we're starting in this position today because I've had a few beloveds reach out to me with neck issues lately. And so for those of you who have neck issues, they may be being amplified by the full moon right now. So Nama Chandra Purnima, salutations to the full moon that is bathing us in all her glory. But just as the sun's radiance tends to intensify things, so can the moon's effulgence. So you may be feeling that amplifying whatever tenderness there may be in the neck, or if you are working from home and spending a lot of time at the computer right now, that tends to really aggravate the cervical spine when we don't have our screen in the just right position. So make sure that your monitor is slightly above the horizon. So ultimately you have to look up a little bit to see the middle of your screen. So you want to encourage that cervical arch. So screen slightly higher than the horizon, not only on the monitor of your computer, but hopefully on your televisions as well if you happen to be doing the quarantine movie thing. So movie screens nice and high. Just keep looking up, beloveds. Just keep looking up. And then also, when the heat turns up in life, the winds of life blow, the body organically grips from the soft tissue. And this is the throat. So we tend to grip from the soft tissue of the throat and the soft tissue of the belly. So you may find that not only are you having some mild tenderness or intensified feelings in your neck, but in your gut as well. And so just soften as best you can in the scalenes and in the psoas. So in the deep throat muscles, the deep neck muscles, and the deep belly muscles. Just soften, soften, soften. And continue to rest here on the roller, allowing gravity to do her thing, allowing the spine to return to homeostasis. Keep softening the tongue in the floor of the mouth, softening the jaw, softening the eyes. The eyes and the neck are simultaneously innervated. So it used to be that if we spent as much time sitting still and staring as we do now at the computer screen, it's because we were staring at something that might become our food, or with the mighty prayer of not becoming something's food. So when we were hunters and gatherers, we would stare for long periods of time perhaps, and then that charge that gathered up was released when the run began. So we were either running to or running from whatever it was that was our object. And so now we are just staring at the computer screen, and there's no release of charge. So my last little bit of unsolicited advice is, once an hour, walk away from your screen and walk around your house, walk around your block, release the charge that has accumulated. Okay, then from here, begin moving in the direction of arms overhead, grabbing hold of one wrist with the opposite hand overhead. And then as you grab hold of a wrist with a hand, relax your arms, relax your elbows. Let the bend in them be whatever it wants as your arms drop down towards the floor. And just a soft hold of the wrist with the hand, shoulders down deep in their girdle, and just let the elbows fall towards the floor. No effort. Just dissolve whatever resistance you can, and soften in and feel. So that's the beauty of Yin Yoga. We don't use the yang of muscular energy. We actually stay far from it as best we can. When we release the effort of muscular contraction, then the connective tissue is more available to us. And that connective tissue can feel quite juicy. it can have a great feeling of vulnerability. So, as best you can, just loosen the grip, give in, and tell yourself it's okay to let go. This is the place, now's the time. Alright, switch the grip, and if you're holding one hand, you hold the other. And then, again, just relax the shoulders down deep in the girdle, relax the elbows towards the floor, a soft hold with the hand that's on the wrist, and with the hand that's not holding, even softer. Every so often, just feeling your front body dropping down, gently hugging the roller, the low back moving more in the direction of imprint than not. And then for our last bit of time here, breathe with the ears of your heart. Breathe with your lateral body. Just see if you can open up the space beneath the armpits, the side ribs. Deep breath in, deeper breath out. Really exhale deeply. And then interlace your fingers overhead and spin the roots of your fingers towards the wall beyond you. And then really get a good hook up at the base of the fingers and hug the outer arm towards the inner. And really work the roots of your fingers towards the wall behind you. Hugging the outer arm to the inner, shoulders down deep in the girdle. Last little bit of opening up the lateral body actively. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Then release the bind and come in the direction of cactus arms and just see what you've got. Goalpost, cactus. And just see what you've got. Elbows may be far from the floor. That's okay. If you want to, you can stack some pillows up underneath each forearm and stay here for a little bit longer and just allow gravity to continue taking you deeper into the release of the pectoral intersection where the arm is held on to the trunk. And then go ahead and release your arms to a place of comfort. And as you release your arms to a place of comfort, you're going to take a moment or two just to feel whatever's so. Remember how this feels. And then without picking up your head, without using neck muscles, just slide your feet up onto whatever support is there and see if you can push it away just enough to get your feet on the floor. Just enough to get your feet on the floor. And then once you've got your feet on the floor, just pause there, press into your feet, imprint your low back. And then with as little effort as possible, again, without picking up your head, without engaging the neck muscles, you're just going to roll off to the right and let the roller, by its nature, roll to the left. And then just push it away and go flat on your back, as you were just a moment ago, but this time without the roller. Square yourself back off on your mat. And as you feel your way back into the position that you had on the roller, but without the roller, begin moving back into goalpost arms. And see how that feels now. Everyone has the opportunity perhaps to be victorious here. Slide your superhero cape down your back. Shoulders away from the ears. And moving in the direction of 90-degree bend with the elbows, just to explore what's available. Yeah, well done. Last 2 breaths here. Let them be big. Let them be generous. And then draw your knees into your chest and release the strap, if you can, without engaging neck muscles. That's my prayer throughout life. Just be mindful of how often you pick up your head and use your neck muscles when it may not have been absolutely necessary. And then Allow your body to now move in the direction of pentacle pose. Reaching out through the bottom two corners with the legs, reaching out through the top two corners with the arms. Wiggle and writhe and climb out of your skin suit. Push your front body down into your back body so you come out through the top and the bottom a little bit more. Point through your toes. Reach through your fingers. Point, 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 point. Reach, 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 reach. And then flex out through your heels. Reach through your fingers. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Lengthening the back body through the heels. And then one last time, lengthen the front body out through the toes. And then soften. And as you soften into pentacle pose, you begin to arrive at your own front door. And we meet and greet whatever sensations are there on the surface. How is the body presenting right here, right now? What is the story of your bones? The story of your sweet velveteen rabbit body? And you feel for the worn spots, the places perhaps in need of a little TLC. And you set intention for your practice. May the body receive this experience of yoga as an act of loving kindness, as a gesture of self-love. May all that you do here on the mat today be for your very highest good, and perhaps the highest good of all. May it be so. Inhale your intentions to each and every cell. Exhaling, may it be so. Bring your knees into your chest. Roll over onto a side. And then support yourself on up to seated. And as you push yourself off and come on up to seated, I'm going to encourage you to get your roller once again. And this time you're going to get your roller and put it right underneath the nape of the neck. Alright? So you're going to lay back down responsibly. Be kind to your neck as you do. And come back down on the roller at the nape of the neck. And really let it be at the bottom of the base of your skull. So it's right, the roller is right underneath the edge of the skull. And then arms go wide, rim to rim, palms up. And we can have our knees bent and feet standing if that feels better on your low back. Or legs long if you have absolute permission. So feel your spine. What is most kind. And then allow the weight of your skull to really meet that roller. And now here, if you don't have a roller, you can roll a sticky mat up in a towel and use that as your roller. And then slowly begin to roll ear to ear, just caressing the base of the skull with the weight of your head. Don't pick the head up at all. Let it be very heavy. Just gently moving along the occiput and releasing any grip that those muscles may have on the base of your skull. Lots of muscles attaching from ear to ear along the backside. And next time you're all the way over to the left, come as far over to the left as you comfortably can, and then nod yes. And we nod yes not to have something to do, but to feel, is there a place that I can get in? And is there a way that I need to adjust the roller so that I can get back at that trigger point with a little more sincerity? So we do our research. And then we find that place, that spot that calls the loudest, and we just stop there. And we lean in, and we breathe in. The mighty intention of releasing. Soft tongue, soft jaw, soft eyes. It all goes together. And then as you lean in and you breathe and you soften, we then ask our body, do I have permission to go a little bit more deeply? And if you do, you're going to roll all the way over onto your left side. And as you roll all the way over onto your left side, you're going to stack your shoulders. The left shoulder is directly beneath the right, and then you're going to pick that left shoulder up and come back down on the floor with the shoulder head in such a way that the floor pushes the shoulder head away from the ear. And then you get that roller up underneath you in a way that your body says, oh yeah, you might be onto something here. All right? And the left arm is straight out perpendicular to your body, parallel to the roller, if that's all right with your shoulder. Otherwise, modify as you need to. But the goal is to be directly on the bullseye of that left shoulder head. Directly on the bullseye of the left shoulder head. Yeah, so come back a little bit with this left shoulder head. Yeah. There you go. That right hand is wherever you need it for support. And then you feel, is the roller just right here? Do I need it to go back a little bit more behind my ear? Do I need a little bit more pushing on the shoulder? I mean, this roller has the opportunity now to really create a lot of space between your shoulder and your ear. So use it. Put it to work for you. Like, find the place that's absolutely delicious. And then, this is a little bit subtle, but bear with me and go there if you can. I like to bend my knees ever so slightly and bring them a little bit forward towards my left arm so that there's no chance of getting into the low back. And then I post off of my left hip, my left leg, post off of my legs, and I just gently shift my weight headward and footward to just push into that roller. So I push my body, yeah. You feel that? Pushing into the roller. Yeah. And you just work it a little bit. You're just shifting, headward and hipward. So it's not front to back, it's straight up and down, headward, footward. And relax that right arm. Make sure that it's not in a place that's introducing any tension. And then after you've shifted your weight headward to footward, and you've really worked your way into that space between the shoulder and the ear, you just lean in and breathe. Relax that left hand. Relax the left arm. When you find this spot here, and I pray you do, you'll want to stay for about 3 days. So if you don't find it, keep fishing. Just keep casting your line. Yes. The beauty of yoga, it's self-exploration. All right, lean in, breathe in. When you're satisfied, and again, I trust you to find your pause button and stay here as long as you need to or want to. When you're satisfied, you roll back over into your back side and let that roller go at the base of your skull. Arms reach wide rim to rim, shoulders down, collarbones in a wide smile, shoulder blades moving into your back pockets. And you decide whether your legs go long or your feet stand down, knees bend to imprint your low back. Just pause at the center. Notice whatever difference you may feel from the space between the left ear and the left shoulder, as opposed to the right ear and the right shoulder. Take a clearing breath. Lean into that exhale. And then a little bit of rolling from ear to ear along the base of the skull. And next time you roll your head towards the right ear, get as far over to the right ear as you comfortably can, and then adjust the roller as you need to. Just work that roller in to mold the shape. Nodding yes, whatever you need to do to find your way in to that trigger point back behind the right ear. And then find the juiciest of the juicies. And you just lean in there, hold that spot, just gently giving in, just releasing the weight of your skull entirely to that place. And your breath arrives at that intersection. Let your breath be deep and meaningful. then if your legs are long, slide your left foot to standing. And then begin rolling over on your right side. And as you roll over onto your right side, get the bullseye of that right shoulder dead on the floor. Right, straight down into the floor, and use the floor to push that shoulder away from the ear. I would like to take a moment now to bring awareness to these Sangha t-shirts that are just so fabulous. There's only a few left. Call Sangha. We'll send you one. Or send us an email. sangha@healingartcenter.net. Okay, so fabulous Sangha t-shirts. But what's more important than this Sangha t-shirt is the shoulder inside it that's being pushed by the floor. And then the roller comes down in a way that pushes the shoulder away from the ear. Is that delicious? Yeah, I mean, it really, it's worth the price of admission. Yeah. So, and I like that left arm somewhere that doesn't introduce any tension in the shoulder. And then she's got those knees gently bent, so there's nice space in the low back. And then a little rocking, a little bit of rocking to just woo your way in. And then you find a place that says, ah, yeah, let me just lean into this. And you lean in. And you breathe. And you soften. So this feels like, I don't know, day 962 of quarantine. And the body is really absorbing, perhaps, the vibe, the global vibe of fear, angst, worry, impatience. Whatever it is that's floating around the ethers, it's probably not being generated from you because you're a yogi and you understand that all is in perfect order. And this is the opportunity to dive deep within to the stillness and the silence. But yet we feel this collective energetic uncertainty. And it shows up in the body. Even if I say, like I say, it's not generated by us, we're feeling the collective vibe. And the body's picking up what's being laid down. And so it's more important now than ever when the world is doing its own freak out asana, that we find that place of clear seeing, calm abiding, and move into the yoga zone to clear that residue from our tissues, from our cells. And we do it not only for our own personal zip code, for our own bodies, but we do it on their behalves. You know, the people that are freaking out, they don't want to freak out. They don't mean to freak out. They're just freaking out. They're innocent. They're innocently freaking out. And so we're innocently doing yoga to help bring about the balance for the entire globe. So on the days that your mind says, I don't feel like practicing today, practice anyway and consider it community service. Alright, last couple of breaths here. Just really leaning into your exhales to release the issues from your tissues. Alright. And then from here, we're going to roll back over onto our back side. Putting that roller back at the base of our skull. Squaring everything off, squaring yourselves off on your mat, squaring your roller off underneath your head. And then once again, reaching wide rim to rim, shoulders down. Deep breath in, deeper breath out. And then a last little bit of side to side, just rolling across the base of your skull. And then steady at center. Without engaging neck muscles, just use your hands to slide the roller overhead as you very slowly lower your skull down to the floor. Releasing the roller. And then moving back in the direction of pentacle pose. Reaching out through the four corners actively. Reaching out through the toes, out through the fingers, climbing out of your skin suit, wiggle and writhe, and then soften. Notice how it feels to be you right now. And is there any place that you can loosen the grip? Just melt down. And then begin sliding your legs together. And as you slide your legs together, feel them in the center of your mat. So let your legs go wide, feel for the outer edges of your mat, and then come back to center. And then when you feel your way back to center, legs go long. Arms come out like wings, straight out of your body, shoulders down. And then interlace your fingers at the base of your skull, as if you were just laying on the ground, looking up at the moon, receiving her effulgence, her beauty, her nectar. And then slide your left foot to standing, and allow your left knee to fall open to the floor. There you are in supine tree pose. Press into your points of contact, pick your booty up, scoot your tail up and under, and lay it back down. So take your upper buttocks tissue towards your heels, get out of your low back. And then allow your right foot to stand on an imaginary wall in front of you as you find the center strike of that heel. And just give a gentle hold to that right leg. This is the foundation. And then inhale, center. Exhale, hinge at the waist as you begin to take your left elbow towards your left knee, taking the entire upper body over to the left, doing a little bit of an army crawl, little by little, just closing off the space in your left waist while opening up the space in your right waist. And keep reaching out through your right heel, and maybe even to the inside strike of your right heel to feel your way to the inside strike of your right hip bone. And then allow your gaze to go out beyond your right elbow. And now for those of you that have the good fortunes of sandbags or anything with a little bit of weight that you can put on this left thigh, you can just set it on there. And at the same time of giving a little bit of weight onto the left thigh, you feel a little bit of weight on the outer right hip. So we're just peeling open the space from the outer left knee to the outer right hip, all the while the posterior tilt to the pelvis, so that we're imprinting or moving towards imprinting the low back, so we're not creating any tension or shortening in the low back. And then there's this great opening in the lateral lung, lateral diaphragm, all the way on up to the base of the shoulder. And we feel that right elbow moving away from the right heel, all the while peeling open the lateral edge of the body. Let this be delicious. Soft tongue, soft jaw, soft belly, soft throat. Where can you soften? Whether it's in the body, the heart, or the mind, where can you soften? And then take your gaze to the left elbow. And do this as a way of kind of participating in the shortening of the left waist. Your last few breaths from the right armpit to the right hip. Really breathe with the edge of your body. Trying to keep it out of the belly as much as you can and into the sides. Opening up the waist. Freeing up any constrictions, any gripping in the gut. And then release your gaze skyward, head to center. And then release your upper body back to center. And once your upper body comes back to center, let your left knee float skyward and your left foot stand down. Press into your left foot just for a moment to imprint your low back. And then release your arms out wide, rim to rim. Shoulders down deep in the girdle. And then from here, slide your left foot to stand on top of your right thigh. Same orientation, toes towards the foot of your mat. We're standing on the top of your right thigh with your left foot. And then allow your left knee to come over to the right as you come over onto your right hip. As best you can, keep your gaze skyward. Keep your shoulders as they are. Now, this is when, if you have a bolster, you can bring the bolster and put it up underneath that left knee and just allow it to rest. For a moment, flex out through the right heel. Get nice and long up through that right leg. Post off your points of contact and maybe bring that right hip back a little bit so you feel that you're on the center strike of the outside hip bone, on the greater trochanter as well. And then you feel like, how would it be to get a little bit longer in the left waist? And what's happening? Do I feel this in the sacrum? Do I feel this in the hip? So for the moment, we're not as much interested in the twisting element as we are creating space in the SI joint. Creating a little bit of space in the low back. Because the arch in the back of the neck tends to mirror the arch in the low back. So the cervical and the lumbar, they mirror one another. So if we have issues with our cervical spine, it's nice to tend to the lumbar spine as well. And then you decide, do you want to take your gaze out towards your left hand? How does that feel? Do you want to take your gaze skyward? Do you want to take your gaze to the right hand? And find what feels most authentic for your body in this shape, what feels most medicinal. And then you just soften in. Drape the shape. And allow whatever you've got to be plenty. Last couple of breaths here, just softening in. And allow that left leg to go long in the direction of your right arm. And see how that feels. Now you have the incredible good fortune here of using this. Like I would come on, if you're near a wall, it can be delicious. Yeah. And then straighten that leg. Oh, right? Yeah. Pretty yummy if you practice near a wall to use the wall. Always use your points of contact. The universe is always dishing out support. You just got to find it and lean in, right? Continuously look for the support that's being offered. Lean in. It's a generous universe. Alright, last couple of breaths here with that leg fully extended. Get nice and long in the waist, right? Nice and long in the waist. Pushing that left hip away from the left rib basket. Getting nice and long in the leg. And just feeling how this translates into creating space in the left SI joint. Yeah. Alright. Come out the way you came in. Bend your left knee. Roll onto your back. Left foot stands. Square yourself off. And then, once you've taken care of your low back, let the legs go long. Come back into pentacle pose. Reach out through the top two corners and the bottom two corners. Wiggle and rise. And soften. Yeah. Let your softening come with deep exhalations. And then slide your legs together. Feel your way into the center of the mat if you're not already there. And then reach wide rim to rim, arms straight out, shoulders down deep in their girdle. Slide your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. And then you're going to slide your left foot to standing. And you're going to notice when you slide your left foot to standing that that's the leg you've already done. So you're going to straighten your left leg. Slide your right foot to standing. Yep. And then press into your right foot, imprint your low back. Yep. And then let your right knee fall open. Yeah. And feel your way onto the imaginary wall in front of you through your left foot. And then find some integrity in that left foot that allows you to access your left hip. So feel your way to the inside strike of the left heel. Press into the left heel, split your pelvic bowl backwards. Your frontal hip bone moves towards your arm dome. And then the fingers interlace at the base of the skull. Back into our moon gazing pose. Inhale. Exhale. Right elbow towards the right knee. And just slowly start to hinge at the waist. Closing off your right waist, opening up your left, pushing your rib basket down, pushing your navel down, coming out through the left heel and the left elbow. Continuously spilling that pelvic bowl backwards if you tend to get caught short in your low back. Right? And then when you've closed off that space, you take your gaze out beyond your left elbow. And you start to breathe the highway, left elbow to left heel. And you peel yourself open. So the only engagement is really the call to consciousness that is your left foot. Your left foot is awake, your left heel is awake. Pose. Offer it the life of your breath and the breath of your life. And then take your gaze out beyond the right elbow. Just participate in the closing off of the right waist, getting a nice little squeeze to the right kidney, the right adrenal. And as always, I encourage you in your home practice to just pause and hold these poses for as long as you can. I love these smart TVs that have the YouTube station on them, so you can just use your remote and pause the video for as long as you can, just to drop in. And the longer you're in a pose, the deeper you go into the levels of sensation, the layers of the onion of our being. I think 3 to 5 minutes is an entry point. Deep breath in. Pause at the top of the inhalation. Sneak in a little bit more breath. When you need to, open the mouth to empty. Exhale, exhale, exhale all the way to the shore. Release your head to center, gazing skyward. Then your body comes back to center. Pause at center for a moment. And then the right foot stands down and the right knee floats. Press into your right foot, imprint your low back. And then slide your right foot on top of your left thigh. Right toes facing the left foot. And then allow your right knee to come across your body to the left. Arms out like wings. And again, if you have support, if there's something that you can slide up underneath the knee, maybe even the knee and the foot, do your research. Find that support. As it's, again, it's not really as much about the depth of a twist as it is an opening of the SI joint, or moving in the direction of that felt sense. Reach out through the bottom leg. Just reach nice and long. See if you want to reach out and maybe pick that left hip up, bring it back a little bit, and lengthen from the hip out through the heel. And then find your way. Feel your way into a nice long waist on that right side. And then, what is the orientation of your gaze that contributes to this pose in some meaningful way? Whether you're looking out your left arm, skyward, or the right arm. You'll find that perhaps looking to the left gives you more of an opening in pectoralis. But feel your way into the honesty of it for your body. My words are always a distant second to the wisdom within you. Trust your body and its guidance always. And then wherever you have a felt sense of this shape, you take your awareness in your breath. And begin to feel that right leg going long, perpendicular to your trunk and parallel to your left arm. So we're just feeling our way out. Yeah, and use your props however you will. You have a wall to hold that foot in place, or using your bolster. Nice and long in that right waist. Yeah, I like that. If you had a sandbag, it'd be a great place. Last few breaths here. Making sure that the orientation of your gaze is most appropriate and it's a chosen one. Your head is where it is best. Deep breath in. Deeper breath out. Coming out of the pose the way you came in, bend your left leg. Or your right leg, rather. And roll onto your back. Left leg is long, right knee is bent, right foot stands down. Yeah, there you go. Square yourself off on the mat. Pause here for a second. And this time we're going to come all the way out the way we came in. So allow your right knee to drop open. And we come back into the supine tree pose. And from supine tree pose, slide the sole of your left foot to meet the sole of your right foot as you bend your left knee. Press into the outside strikes of your feet or your heels. Pick up your buttocks, scoop your tail up and under, imprint your low back. And just rest here. In Supta Baddha Konasana. Allow the outsides of the knees to be heavy and draped down towards the floor. Allow the pelvis just to open up. And breathe from the floor of the pelvis. As if. Breathing from the floor of the pelvis all the way up to the opening of the rib basket. And really do some nice belly breathing here. Big belly breathing. The first of the three-part breath. Clearing any anxiety hemmed up in the diaphragm. With your next exhalation, empty, empty, empty. Let go of every bit of the past. Release the breath to its own intelligence. Float your knees, slide your feet to standing. And we're going to finish with the cervical spine, just as we began, with a mighty prayer of releasing tension from the neck. So, for those of you experienced, I'm going to encourage you just to go right on into the pose. For those of you that are new to this, you're going to get your strap. And you're going to create a nice big loop in your strap. And your strap is going to go from the base of your skull all the way to the tips of your toes. Now, my concern is the strap is going to be a little short. Yeah. So I'm going to get down and demonstrate this. So here's how it's going to look. You're going to get it on your toes, right? Skull first, at the base of the skull, and then on the tips of the toes. This one's actually less short. So it's right along the base of the occiput, along my toes, shoulders down, palms up. And I'm pulling my armpits towards my waist, navel towards the spine, shoulders away from the ears, and I'm pushing with my feet to pull the base of my skull away from the base of my neck. Shoulders down. And I'm just lifting my skull up off my spine. As if you could lift your house up off the foundation and let it breathe. Wouldn't that be delicious? So the legs are fully extended. Shoulders are down. Palms are up. And I'm just pushing in a way that feels delicious to my body. Dropping shoulders. And then you'll be here for like, I don't know, 3 days. And then when you hear the whisper from within to come out, you slowly lean back. I like to hold the strap to gently lower the head down. Release. Slide the strap out. Pause and notice. Then from here, I encourage you to feel your way into pentacle pose. Last little bit of lengthening out in all directions, and then softening. And just soften in this shape. Soften in this shape and allow your body to completely surrender. Allow this surrender to take you on into Shavasana. Dropping down deep into the stillness and the silence beneath you. Sukino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. May all beings in all worlds be peaceful and free. May there be peace in our bodies, peace in our hearts, peace in our minds, and peace in our homes. Beloveds, stay in Shavasana for as long as you can, and then a little bit longer still. Om Shanti.